Hey everybody. So we are getting very close to the end of the semester, and as I mentioned before, these assignments are going to start escalating in some interesting ways that will take you beyond just the response to the literary text and really thinking about where you might go from here, both in your literary research but also just your research in general. So this is a survey class. It's designed to introduce to you to the texts and the culture of the English language and its literature from its beginnings through what we've read just now with Jonathan Swift. We wanted this last assignment to think about how you might step forward if you were to take it into your 3000 level classes, whether in the English department or in any department, where you are going to be required to do more research into a specific topic and bring in some source material to engage with, to enter into that conversation. And so that's what this whole week is focused on. We've got several resources that are going to help you with it, all designed with an assignment in mind. So what we're going to do today is actually look at the assignment itself and then work backwards from there to show you the resources that you have available to you. So if we look at if you come here to Blackboard and you look at the secondary source research, all of the information here. We're going to go down here so it's here in the literary research essay, which is where you turn it in. But I also place the assignment sheet here. I just don't love the way that Blackboard sets this up, which is great because we're not going to be using Blackboard starting this fall. We're switching over to Canvas. I'm not quite sure exactly what that's going to look like yet, but that's not all that relevant to you, but it will be the new learning management or LMS system that we have. So anyway, I don't love it, so that's why I put it in a different place. But I wanted to show you this assignment so that you can see exactly what we're talking about for this week. So in essence, if we think about research and we think about the topics that we consider, what a lot of people have put in reference to, and the reference point that I can think of is Kenneth Burke's idea of a parlor room, is that research and writing is like entering into a conversation that's already ongoing about your topic. So some of these texts have been around for hundreds of years, and there have been plenty of scholars throughout the long time that have had a conversation about this text. And so what research is understanding the context or the conversation that's going on about the text and looking for a way to enter into it. And you're going to do that about any text that you want to for this semester. So the first thing that you are going to do as a part of this whole assignment is find a source, then you're going to summarize it, you're going to engage with it in conversation, and you're going to think about its implications going forward. And it's broken down over those 4 different things, which we might think I put in the categories of finding, listening, speaking, and moving. So then the first thing is you're going to go find a source, and there are a couple of requirements to the source here that you need to keep in mind. One, I'm going to ask that it be scholarly. Scholarly just means that it's written by academics and it goes through a review process that's fairly rigorous. So it has some built-in credibility there, what we might call the appeal to ethos. If you've done your freshman composition here, you know that term well, that where the author has credibility just by reference to his or her background and the fact that it is already included in a scholarly source. So you're going to find that scholarly source, and I'm going to show you really quickly how to do that well. So if you get here, and this is the My AUM page, click on Library, and go here to the AUM Library webpage. Right, so you've got a lot of different resources here that are available to you, and there are some intricate ways to do searching that are going to be really helpful. But for the main thing that I want you to think about is you want to have a scholarly article about your text written sometime in the last, let's say, 25 years. So going back to 2000, if it's around that window, I'm not really that concerned about it, but think about all the ways that life has changed since the year 2000, right? That's before many of you guys were born. In 2001, what happened? 9/11, right? 2008, we had a global financial crisis. And the intervening years, we had ups and downs in a lot of different ways, all the way to now we've hit COVID. And now what do we do with now in this response. So you think about all of the things that's happened in the last 25 years. We're going to locate a text within that context. Now, your scholarly journal is probably not going to address all of those issues, but it's more of an indicator of we want to create research that is both scholarly and timely, and you'll see that's a requirement on this assignment. So as you come to the AUM library, what I suggest that you do from the outset is if you want to do a quick search, it's fine, but with the two things that you can click that are really helpful are full text and scholarly peer reviewed. So that way you know that it's already doing some filtering for you so that you can see that the articles are there. Excuse me. So once you do that, click on search, and then that's going to bring up this really functional search screen here in just a second. And we can see here, the best thing you can go is you look down here, you can see that you've got publication dates. Let's do the year 2000, right? So you see all the way over here on the left-hand side, we've got it that it's full text and peer reviewed. And by the way, full text means that it's an actual article. So in a lot of cases, you might have these snapshots or different things that can come up on these databases, but a full text means you're dealing with the entire article. So once you do that, you're going to not 200, that's not helpful. 2000, probably needed in the era of the printing press. All right, and you notice that what I did, where am I? There. So you notice what I did is I typed in Gulliver's Travels, and I looked at from 2000 to 2023, and you've got a lot of different things that you can look at in terms of if you're looking for a general topic. If you already have a better topic in mind, then you can say Gulliver's Travels and Christianity, for example. Then you can narrow down your search, and I'll go back and show you exactly how I did that in just a second. So we were at the basic search page. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so you can see that I had Gulliver's Travels, and I had limited it from full text to peer reviewed to 2023. Now I'm going to add this section of adding a different topic. And the best thing that you can do in this environment is just go in and play around. Go try different terms and see if things that are interest to you, right? And so if you see this, you already have this crucifix in the post, a note on the Christian theme in Gulliver's Travels. So I'm going to pull this up. And what this does, it gives me an article in Renaissance Magazine, which is a literary, or not magazine, but it's a literary and scholarly journal that you can use as one of your sources. And if you're not particularly interested in Gulliver's Travels, well, you know what else you can do is, if you're still interested in Christianity, but you want to look at other texts, then you look at Beowulf, right? Here's Saint Beowulf, hagiography and heroic identity in Beowulf. So if I click this, it does not have a link for me, and that's okay. So that means it's probably not going to be helpful. That's just giving the record. Here is the impact of Christianity and literacy in Anglo-Saxon England resistance in Beowulf. It's someone's dissertation or thesis, but that means it had to go through a similar review process. So in a lot of scholarly cases, that may not be the exact one, but we're looking for it. Here's kind of what we have in mind. So you notice, if I'm going to make this easy on myself, by the way, I'm going to go and I'm going to look for this guy right here. You see where it says PDF full text? So that pulls down the article itself, right? And now I'm realizing that that actually is from 1984. So you see that now I'm thinking, okay, maybe I need to change my approach, because what didn't come with me was this. So I show you that all just because that's the nature of this research process, right? Kind of want to give you a live look at what research looks like, because there's the constant back and forths and playing that you're going to have to do with that. So I noticed that that's written in 1984. that's not necessarily helpful. So I want to go find articles again that are from this 2000 to 2024 date. So dramatic irony and pagan salvation in Beowulf. So we're already there. But I noticed right here, that's a short review. That's probably a review and short article, so it's not going to have as much information for you. You've got to do the work of evaluating whether or not your source has enough info for you. So once you, excuse me, once you have a source that you want to use, let's see, reconsidering Robinson's Beowulf, I'm looking for a stronger Beowulf article that you might use. Be it Beowulf, Gold Luck, and God's Will. And here's one. Here's a great one right here. But notice how far I had to go down the page to actually find that source, right? And as I think about it, is this going to hit in that realm of Christianity and Beowulf? Yes, it is, because we see even in the one, it's flagged in the keyword terms, but also in the title of this article. So that's going to be a good source. Once you have this source, and I gave this as about as wide a net as it could be, because I won't want to limit you in what you're discussing. But if you have questions about the source itself, feel free to drop me a line. I'll be happy to walk with you through the source. So once you've found that source, I want you to, on your essay, put in an MLA citation that will, and a correct MLA citation, so that you can, so that I can find that source myself, or that other readers could find that source. Excuse me, my voice is going out. Give me just a second. Okay, better now. So if you need some help with that, go to the MLA Formatting and Style Guide on the Purdue. I'll link this into the Blackboard page. I would stay away from this guy right here, just because they typically don't work well. By the time you need to put all the information in for it to be useful, you could have done the citation yourself. So really just find the guideline here. If I'm looking, I'd go electronic web publications. Article in an online scholarly journal, either in print or in online only. It's all right here. Again, I'm going to link to this page so you have that. So your format of your essay should include citation, and then we're going to look at your next paragraph, which is, where am I? Here. So we're going to go to the next stage, which is listening, which is where you're going to compose a summary. Now here are the key parts of the summary that I'm looking for. I want to see what is the key argument of the article and the evidence that they bear. It's a summary, so you don't necessarily have to quote here, but what I want to see is, what is the article about? What are they trying to say? And then what information are they bringing to bear to support that argument? That's it. That's all you need to include in the summary. Here's the big picture topic. Here's how they support it. And then you're going to move into speaking, which you're going to use something that is well, we'll call these templates from They Say, I Say. So this is a really helpful, if there's any reading you need to do this week, it is this chapter, which is They Say, I Say, chapter 4, which is where you are agreeing or disagreeing with the text. And then you'll see some key ways that what the idea behind this book and behind this chapter is to demystify what it means to actually write in reference to a source. So sometimes it can seem like a big mystery, but using these templates, you can be, it's really quite easy to just try this format out. So if you look right here, you're going to see templates for disagreeing with reasons, because the idea of this next paragraph after you summarize is for you to enter into the conversation so that you are engaging with the source itself. So it's literally that paragraph above is They Say in the summary, and now you're going to make your point. But here, look at these different ways that you can agree or that you can disagree with reasons. I disagree that X's view that blank because, as recent research has shown, there's some questionable assumptions, or I think they're leaving out this key part of the text itself. That's really helpful to explain. in order to establish your own point of view. And remember, this is not about you are trying to contend with a scholarly source. I understand that there's like a how do I talk to somebody who's an expert in the field, but it's really about engaging their argument. If they're leaving out a big portion of it, then explain it, right? This is why I disagree with that text. You can also agree, but you want to show some kind of difference, right? The author is surely right about blank because, as she may not be aware, recent studies have shown, or X's theory of blank is extremely useful because it sheds light on the difficult problem. So let's take Gulliver's Travels, for example. Let's say that the author that you've chosen writes specifically about part 4 of Gulliver's Travel, which is Gulliver's journey to the land of the Winhams. And what you read there is actually really insightful. What I saw a lot of you working on was how we read part 1. Now, your article may not address part 1 at all. Typically, with scholarly sources, they want to dig into specific details about a text and then prove it from there. So when you go back to point 1, you could say, this part that the article focuses on actually opens up the way we read part 1 and part 2 and part 3 as well. That's a way that you can agree with a difference. What I don't want to see in this paragraph, if you're agreeing, is just another summary example. A summary and then a summary again. Enter into the conversation by establishing your point of view so that you are writing your own argument there. So, and that can seem intimidating, but that's exactly the type of work that you're going to be doing from this point forward. And then finally, and next in that assignment, I'm going to go back to Blackboard over here. After we do that, we are going to do this moving, which is in your last paragraph. I want you to explain what this means about the reading of text. So borrowing that from that same Gulliver example, your author wrote about part 4, you're connecting it to part 1, and your last paragraph could be, this changes the whole way that we read Gulliver's Travels, or it opens up more explanations about how we understand Jonathan Swift, how we understand his culture. Think about, speculate on what you might do with this information going forward. So if you are, in essence, trying to take this forward into how you might bring this into a larger topic, because from this class you're going to have a topic like representations of the other in 18th century England. How are you going to do that effectively? Well, you're going to take a lot of examples like this to prove your point. So as I've shown you throughout this throughout this assignment this week, is that you've got a lot of resources available to you that you can use to construct this assignment. I would, like we've done today, take this assignment sheet and just think through each of the sources. For finding, you come here to this video and I will show you that you can look through the basic breakdown of finding these sources, right? So we started here, we ended up here. You've got a lot of things that you can use to do that, plus the MLA works cited page on the Purdue OWL. And from there, you want to summarize the text using finding the argument and then the evidence that the author uses to support the argument. Then establish your point using those templates from They Say, I Say before you finally look forward to this. I know that this is a more extended writing assignment, so that's why the minimum requirement of it is 750 words, because you just need at least that much to get your points across. And like all of the assignments, you will have a chance to revise this. But the more you can do on the front end, the better it's going to be, because after this assignment, we have the final exam. So I hope all of this information is helpful. Everything's there on Blackboard. In addition, I'm also going to add that portion about MLA citations. And I'm also going to include, I think it's perhaps not here on this just yet, because I haven't put it up there yet. I need to do some revising on it. But this video this document that I made about the what and the why of literary research. That's what I started this video out, was why this is important. Now I'm going to close it out with some information about secondary source research and why we do it. So I think I have that document here. There it is. Okay, so to show you guys real quick, I'm going to upload this to Blackboard. But we want to think about the why of everything. Like, like you, I always need to know why if I'm going to give something my full effort. And some of the temptations of a college class is that we do a bunch of extra work that's not necessary and not necessarily connected to the why of it all. But what I want to show to you is this idea of we're taking the conversation that you have and extending it out into the greater field about it. As I've emphasized to you throughout the semester, the discussion board post and is really a good way for both you and the person that you're reviewing or the person that reviews you in um, learning more about the text through someone else's perspective. Now we're just extending that outward to set you up well to take these skills forward into future classes. So let me know if you have questions or concerns about why you're doing this. Or about as you're doing it. I'm happy to explain those to you. This is one of the values of these conversations, is especially as we're getting toward the end of the semester. I'm happy to set up a time to go get on Zoom with you and chat some more. It's easy to do. I have a very flexible schedule. I'm just not on campus that often. But we can schedule a meeting and work on these things together. So thinking about the why and the what of this understanding, so that you can do this effectively, again, not just for now, but for the future. So reach out to me. This assignment is due Saturday, April 20th. By the end of the day, and I'm going to try to turn them around pretty quickly going into the next week so that you have plenty of time to take a look at this and revise it if you need to before the final exam is due. You won't have a chance to revise the final exam. That's just the nature of final exams, but and because the timeline doesn't work. But I want this to kind of assignment to take what you've learned this semester and really put it into practice in ways that you're going to have it going forward. So please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'll talk to you soon.